Hi Jen.
Hello, Eric.
Jen, thanks for taking some time out today to do this short little, summary really of what you've done so far on the Coach Me Trim and Slim programme. Just for people listening, could you just remind us how much you've actually lost on the programme today?
£46 in total, which is just over 3 stone.
Fantastic. How are you feeling about that?
Very good.
Okay,
Yeah,
fantastic.
very good.
And for people listening that don't know, maybe just give us a bit of your background to start off with.
Yeah, okay. I'm 56, married, I have grandchildren. I'm a civil servant, so I have a full-time job.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. So full-time job, working full-time, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
And you started on the Coach Me Trim and Slim programme now. What was it that made you start the programme to begin with? What was it? Where were you to begin with? Sort of, mentally, emotionally, physically?
I suppose at a very low ebb, I had reached a point where it was my only option, personally. It was a way of helping myself.
Okay, and from a physical point of view, was there anything at all that you were struggling with in terms of any aches, pains, or were you sort of...
Absolutely, yes. I had a problem with one of my feet which was chronically painful, made it very, very difficult to walk, and that was one of the motivations for joining, but not the total motivation.
Right, okay. And how is that now, that pain in the foot, is that?
Virtually disappeared.
And that's just through losing the weight?
Yes.
Fantastic. And in terms of weight loss, what sort of things have you tried before? What sort of things have you been involved in? Kind of got a bit of an interesting background there.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have had weight issues in the past, and some years ago I joined Weight Watchers and was very successful. So much so that I became a leader.
Great.
But unfortunately, I found it very difficult to combine the demands of being a leader with the full-time job.
Right. And when you started on the Coach Me Trim and Slim programme, so you came along to a presentation, what was it that made you decide to run with the Coach Me Trim and Slim programme versus any other programme out there? Because there are lots, as you know, there are lots of programmes out there that you could have chosen. What was it that made you decide upon this?
I think because it was an option I hadn't tried before. I hadn't heard of your programme, and I was looking, like most people, for something different. I was hoping that it would offer perhaps something new.
And what was it that you heard that made you feel like it was something new or different? Was it something that was said?
Absolutely, yes. For me, it was the fact that you took personal responsibility for yourself, that it wasn't like other programmes. There was no prescriptive diet, there was no exercise regime. You were given advice and left entirely to decide how you utilised that advice.
And for anybody listening, when the programme started, it didn't typically start with food, which I know for a lot of people that tends to be the starting point, the food. If you're going to maybe a slimming group, it tends to be food. If it's the gym, it tends to be exercise. Were you a little bit surprised at the fact the programme didn't start off with food? Did that surprise you at all?
Yes, I think so, and I think most people would find it surprising, but it was also extremely refreshing because it didn't focus on the separate elements. It took them as a combined feature.
So it combined them all together, great. And where you are now, I mean, how are you feeling about yourself generally? How are you feeling about the progress you made? How do you feel about going forwards?
I feel extremely positive, very positive, a lot happier, a lot more confident in myself. Yes, definitely all the pluses.
So for somebody listening to this interview who's maybe sitting on the fence, maybe they've tried things in the past before, what advice would you give to them regarding the possibility of doing the Coach Me Trim and Slim programme?
I would say approach it with a totally open mind. Listen to the advice given. It's entirely up to you how you use it, and if you use it wisely, then obviously you have the potential to be very successful.
That's great. Jen, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eric.